What's up, everybody? It's Josh at Silver Springs. So we are starting a new series called Stories from the Stockroom.
Stories from the Stockroom.
And I've had a couple people ask about the leopard skin that's up in the store, and so I thought for the first episode I'd tell that story. So in 1954, my father, his two sisters, and his parents left Oshkosh, Wisconsin to travel to New York. And from New York, they got on a boat and went across the Atlantic to India. So my father's father, my grandfather, who passed away when my father was young, so I never got a chance to meet him. He owned several restaurants and hotels, was a politician, even back in the late 40s, early 50s, owned his own plane. So he was a pretty successful businessman, and he was also involved in his church. And so the church asked him if he would be a business manager for a mission that they had in India. So he agreed and loaded the family up on a boat, and in 1954, they went to India. And they went to a town in southern India called Madras. And so Madras, they went into Madras, and the mission was kind of out in more rural area. My father and his two sisters went to a boarding school in the mountains, and his parents stayed in town and helped run the business side of the mission. And so while they were there, the local people had livestock, goats and cows and things like that, very small scale, but they had some livestock, and they were having some trouble with some leopards in the area. And as you can imagine, rural India, in the 50s, probably had a lot of the same issues it does now, whether it be big cats, cobras. My father tells stories about playing with a cobra with a stick, and it was quite a wild environment, I'm sure. But again, these village people were having issues with these leopards killing their livestock. And so my grandmother agreed to try and help them kill the leopards. And so what they would do, the way she had described the story to me, was they would put a dog on a stake, which sounds very brutal now. And the way she described it was they would sit for hours and hours and wait for this leopard. And she said she had looked away for a second and then looked back, and the leopard was already there with the dog in its mouth. And so that's how quiet and stealthy it was. And she managed to kill the leopard, and the dog actually lived. But what they were really doing was trying to help these local leopard people skin that's up maintain their livestock. So the shelf in the store is one of three. My father got one, and then each of his sisters got one as well. My grandmother was an incredible woman, extremely independent. And of course, to be in the mid-50s for a woman to shoot 3 leopards was quite an accomplishment. So I'm very proud to have it, be able to have it displayed in the store along with her picture with that leopard. It's a very special thing to have, and I'm proud to have it, and I think it adds a kind of a cool little element to the store. And now you know the story behind the leopard. See you next time on Stories from the Stockroom.